Just go ask
Okay. Some things are certainly similar to what we've been doing. He's been through a number of installations since he's been here. I think the biggest change is just understanding that there's actually a specific opponent there in front of you, and now being familiar with the players on the other team, the staff, the scheme, and some of the specifics that we can now pinpoint and prepare for that we see on film. So prior to that, it's been a lot of practice against our defense and some other defenses that we're rotating a lot of players in there during the course of the preseason. So just a little bit more intentional in terms of who we're getting ready to play, how they play, the types of things that they do well. And again, he's getting his first experience really getting to know a really well-coached team in the regular season, what their staff likes to do, how they create issues for the offense. A lot of the things that Miami's defense did well last year, certainly we're going to have to handle on opening day. And then there's always the unknown of opening day, which we don't spend a whole lot of time talking about because we know there's going to be some things that we see that we didn't prepare for. And so for a young player, just tell them, let's just know the things that we can know as well as we can know them. And when it's time to make an adjustment or change something on Sunday afternoon, then we'll do it. And we got to handle it the way we've handled those situations thus far leading up to the game.
Awesome. Quick follow-up. I want to ask about your sweatshirts. Let's say a rookie class 21.
It does. If it's coaches, if it's free, it's for us. So this was in my office one day. So it's nice and comfortable, and we keep the building kind of cold. So it's a good sweatshirt.
How do you feel about this rookie class? Is that an endorsement of looking pretty good so far?
Nobody knows anything yet about this rookie class. We know what we've seen and all the rest of it, but not one of them have played in a regular season game. Nobody's played against a team that's actually put together a game plan, and had to play 60 minutes. So, all of them are trying to prepare as hard as they can. They all have a lot to learn. Certainly this experience this week is going to be something that none of them have ever experienced before in their lives. Playing in the National Football League against an actual opponent that's prepared for you is a totally different experience. So they got a lot to learn. Hopefully they can just keep their head down and continue to grind on the material that they need to be working on and prepare to play whatever role that we ask them to play on Sunday.
Great. Thank you.
Yep.
Next question, Karen Gregan, followed by Steve Sanchez.
Hi, Josh.
Hey, Karen.
Hey. Barring the unforeseen or unknown that you made reference to, does your knowledge of Brian Flores and Josh Boyer and their defense help also in the fact that you might play a similar defense and Mac will be facing that every day in practice?
I think there's certain similarities to some of the things that our defense does and has done during the spring and summer to what Miami has done in the past. But I know that Brian and Josh have definitely put their own spin on a lot of different areas of their defense and what they do. I would definitely say it's their scheme, and they utilize their players, in different ways. They have a group of defensive players that is, I would say for the most part, pretty experienced. They can do a lot of different things. They can create a lot of different issues. Certainly created a ton of turnovers last year. And so there are some similarities, but I think you got to be careful with assuming that it's going to be, I'd say, too close to what you've experienced practicing against our defense. We've seen all the games certainly that we've played against them since they've been down there in Miami. I would say no two are the same, which is not surprising. And I would anticipate that, we opened with them last year, there was some things we saw last year that we didn't know we would see, and I would expect that to be the same again this year. Really have a tremendous amount of respect for both of those guys, the entire staff down there. But Brian and Josh do a tremendous job, always have. And I got a deeper amount of respect for the way they've handled that group, the squad, and Brian, the team. So this will be a huge challenge for us.
Just one quick follow. I mean, are you curious to see? I mean, Mac seems to have passed all the tests thus far, or has done a good job getting to the point he's at. Are you curious to see how he fares, obviously, in this next step, facing a defense unlike what he faced during the preseason?
Sure. And I think the best thing we can do is focus on the things that we can control. I think that's what he'll do, and that's what we're going to advise him to do. We can't worry about the outcome. The outcome will be what it will be. We have to focus on the process and working hard to understand, one, what they do, two, what we want to do, and how we're asking him to do his job is really going to be the same process that we'll use all year. And so, at the end of the game, will I look back on it and be excited to see the things he did well and the things we can learn from, mistakes we made and what we can correct? Absolutely. It's opening day, so this is his first time, and it's always a new experience, and it's a different experience for all of us. And he's not the only one out there that's going to have to establish his level of performance and try to carry his preparation through the practice week out there onto the field on Sunday. That's a team thing, and all our guys have to do that and reestablish that every year. So I'm looking forward to seeing how our team responds to this week of practice, how we continue to prepare hard. Hopefully we have a great week and we're ready to go on Sunday.
Great. Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Next question, Steve Sanchez, followed by Ryan Hannibal.
Hey, Josh, how are you?
Good, Steve. How are you?
Pretty good. Last year was kind of a different year. I mean, how do you look at this year? Opening day for especially you guys. Does it take a little longer to get into it? I mean, you've been through many of opening days, and now you have a rookie quarterback. I mean, is it going to be a little different for you, or maybe you might even try him out a little bit more?
I think that ultimately we're going to go through the practice week and try to do what we think is best, and that's for our entire group. Understanding that we have some new guys in other positions as well, and try to make the decisions that we feel like we can go out there and play best using whatever those things are. And so this opening day is going to be different for a lot of us anyway, because last year's opening day we didn't have any noise, and it was a very awkward feeling to be in the stadium without anybody there. And I think there'll be a tremendous amount of excitement, to be here in front of our home fans. We'll all be ready to go, I'm sure. And, I think opening day is a day where you want to, get out there and do the things you're confident in doing. And then when it's time to make an adjustment, if you need to, you go ahead and do it. But go in with an open mind, but be eager, jump in with 2 feet and start swimming.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, you got it.
Next question, Ryan Hannibal, followed by Phil Perry.
Hey, Josh, I had a quick question on Mac. With him not playing or starting a preseason game, is that something you have to sort of go through with him, the routine of the game day and all that? Like, I know in the past you've had your younger rookie quarterbacks start a game in the preseason. Is that something you have to sort of go over with Mac?
Not really. He started games before. Obviously, he started big games before in his life. Whenever he was going to start his first NFL game, it was going to be the first time. So, it's football. He knows it's football, and he's preparing to start, and he's doing all the things necessary to put himself in a position to have a good week, and then try to carry his preparation out there onto the field on Sunday. But there's going to be 11 guys on defense. There's going to be 11 guys on offense, and he's played the sport a long time, and I'm sure we'll look. We all have butterflies on opening day. That's just the nature of opening day. But you get out there, you love doing it, and you have fun. You start competing, and you'll settle into the game.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Two final questions, Phil Perry and Mark Daniels.
Hey, Josh, how's it going?
Good, Phil. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. I wanted to ask you about your tight ends and specifically Jonnu and Hunter. Obviously, they're not brand new to the offense. They've been with you guys for an off season now, but both guys have missed a little bit of time this summer, and it is their first season with the team. Are they ready, in your opinion, to kind of hit the ground running here once the games start to matter on Sunday?
Yeah, I think, I think both of them have worked extremely hard. I mean, I feel very confident in both players' aptitude and understanding of our system and our operation and what we do offensively and what their roles are in it. That's because they're very diligent about the work they put in. They prepare really well. So I'm very confident in that. And I anticipate that when the week is done, we'll try to make the decision as a whole. All right, hey, we love these things, and these things we're still working on them, and that's kind of every year that happens. I would say at the beginning of the year, you have some expectations or some hope that you maybe we'll be further ahead in this scheme or this type of thing before we start playing games, and maybe it didn't materialize that way, and you decide to kind of hold it and continue to work on it in practice, but. I have no doubts about those two players in terms of, their ability to go out there and perform. They'll both be ready to go. And I know they're excited and happy to be, getting into a regular season routine now.
Did the ability to just get multiple tight ends on the field in preseason, Josh, or the inability, I guess, to get two of those guys on the field at the same time in preseason, was that a speed bump of sorts for your offense? Because we saw at times that there were some games there, I think, where, you only had one or two tight ends really available to you.
Yeah. I mean, you can call it whatever you want. I mean, as you know, and we experience every year, it happens to us every year at some point. I mean, we go through stretches of the season where you might be light at receiver, you might be light at tight end, you might be light in the backfield, you might be light at guard, at tackle, whatever it is. And I'm kind of numb to it, quite honestly. This is the nature of being, I think, in my 21st year and just saying, hey, look, these are the obstacles that you're presented with at some point during the course of the season. You just keep moving forward. And that's why we have a roster that has some flexibility to it. We have some other players that can fill in and play a role. It's also a good lesson to remind yourself as a coach that you can't put everything in one basket, especially as you're getting ready to start the season. You have to have some depth to your game planning, to your personnel, and to what you may do, which always lends itself to having maybe more than you need or more than you're going to use, but you never know which part of it you're going to use or you're going to need. So I think our players, that really gives us a great opportunity, what happened to us in the preseason, to build some of the depth in our players, build some of the depth in our scheme. And now when you have to go to it, whether that's in the middle of the second quarter of a game or, hey, after this game's over, based on the injury situation, we got to play the next game a certain way. It's always helpful at some point in time, even if in the middle of it, you're kind of wishing you had everybody fully healthy. But that, as you know, is a rarity in our sport. And so you take it as an opportunity to develop something else. And that's what we tried to do. And again, we're excited for those guys along with the rest of our group this week.
Great. Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Last question, Mark Daniels.
Hey, Josh. Hope all is well. I mean, obviously, a lot of new faces for you on offense with Mac, Hunter, Jonnu, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne. When you have so many new guys, at those skill positions, I'm sure you have a general idea of what you think the offense will look like. How much of it is also trial and error to see how defenses attack you and how all these pieces sort of fit in when the games start?
Well, I certainly don't have any expectation that we will go out there and be a completely finished product. I mean, I don't think we've ever been that on opening day. I think that there's a natural growth and maturation process that you have to go through every year, regardless of what side of the ball you coach, regardless of how many players you return or don't return. You have to reestablish what's important to you on your side of the ball, reestablish your level of practice and preparation, and then ultimately reestablish it out there in terms of your performance on game day. So like I said, we're going to focus with all our guys, new or returning, on what their role is and is going to be going forward, what the process is as we prepare for the next opponent. And then we're going to go out there and try to make the best decisions about, hey, these are the things we do best, and let's try to do those as many times as we can. And at the same time, we'll try to add to that bucket weekly, Mark, so that you can't stay the same in this league for 2 months in a row, or it's not going to work. So whatever we do on opening day, we'll try to learn from it, grow from it. Hopefully as much of it as we can do well, we do well, and then make the rest of it better as we go, and tweak and change some things as we learn more about our players and as we see them work together more as we go forward.
Great. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.